Large tool set part 3. That is this area of the large tool set that we have move, push, pull, rotate, follow me, scale, offset, mirror, and how to change the axis, the famous axes. So we're gonna start with move. So I select move and I can notice that where I move my mouse is highlighting a specific object, line, or group or whatever. So I suggest if we want to move something, first to select what we're gonna move. So for example, I select the object that I want to move, then select the move tool, and then it's important to choose from where we are moving. For example, from this corner, I'm gonna move it 2 feet to this side. Or I'm gonna move it from this corner specific to this point. So it's stick. So if I want, instead of from that point, from this midpoint, here's the midpoint of this group, I can move it to here. So here is the end point, and midpoint is exactly in the midpoint. And also always the program is like showing us some signals or something like that. So we have this from this midpoint, I can move it to that midpoint. And for example, I can move it up. So we need always to check the axis as well. So here it says on blue axis, and I can move it 2 feet up, for example, and I have it there. That is how do we move. Also, we have push-pull. So for example, I'm gonna push-pull this 2 feet up, for example. Or instead of that, this, as I don't want to do the math, supposedly I don't know these measurements, so I can do it like this. I move it and put in this corner, like my mouse on top of this corner, and then second click. And that's it. One left click of the mouse, move it to this line guide, second click, and that's it. So that is another way to push pull. So this is a volume. We are creating, in this case, a volume that is interesting that if we, for example, delete this surface, is not, it doesn't have a thickness. We can create a thickness. Now we're gonna see how. So if we are deleting, for example, this, if we are deleting this, we have lines, we can delete lines, and I'm gonna undo all this for now. Another thing, supposedly I want a wall here. I'm gonna use offset. So did you notice that now is highlighted the surface? Here's the surface, or if not the lines, but I want the surface. So I'm gonna move my mouse until I check that it's highlighted the surface, one left click of the mouse, and then I can put, for example, 2 inches. Is an example, no? But I create and I separate. If I select selection tool, I can check that this is separate, these 2 surfaces I separated. But if I delete that surface, we just have one surface there. So I'm gonna undo that. And in this case, with push-pull again, I'm gonna push-pull this until the other surface. And here it says on face. So now it guarantees me that is deleted. So we have a thickness of 2 inches in this case. As well, we can do it here. So for example, I can do a circle here, like that, push, pull. And as I don't want to do the math, I can do it on surface, so on a specific point like this one. So I have it there. So this is how we start creating some walls with thickness. We can push, pull, and delete some other surfaces and all that. Then supposedly we want to rotate something. So for example, I'm gonna create a group just to make it easier. So this, I'm gonna make a group. And just for the exercise, I'm gonna do this as push-pull. And I'm gonna paint in here. In the future, we're gonna see colors, but just to show you something, I'm gonna paint the perpendicular because it's a little bit different than something that we saw with lines. So for example, I have this object, no? I'm gonna move it more next to here. And I'm gonna rotate. In this case, it's this one, rotate. So if I move it this way, did you notice that this changed? The symbol is green in this case. That is the same than this. If I move it this way, the symbol is red. And if I move it this way, the symbol is red in this case. This one is blue, green, red. So if I move it one left click, so I set up the edge of rotation. Second left click, and I can do it in this corner. Third left click, and I can rotate. And we are just in the green axis with the green symbol, so we can notice that it's perpendicular to this edge. So the edge of rotation is perpendicular. The same in the blue one. For example, I'm gonna press this here, one click, second click, and it's the blue edge of rotation. And here in red, we see angles. So we can set up our own angle, or we can third left click, set up 75 in this case. But if I want a specific angle, for example, 90 degrees, I write down with the keyboard 90, enter, and I set up this 90 degrees. I can one click, second click, and I can move this up 90. But be careful with the black symbol because it's not attached to any of these axes. So we need to be careful because sometimes it turns to be this way and it's a little bit complex to go it back to the other way. In case you have this obstacle, we can select this, move it to this way, and we need to check how to rotate this. So for example, I'm gonna delete this person. Rotate. First, blue axis. I'm gonna select my edge of rotation first. First, select the element that we're gonna rotate. Second, rotate. Third, I'm gonna rotate in the blue axis. So we need to check here is my blue axis, and I set up that this is my edge of rotation. First left click, set up the edge of rotation. Second left click, I want this object to be aligned to this line. And that's it. And we're gonna do the same in this way. So I need the red one because it's perpendicular to the edge of rotation that I need to move this here. So now first left click of the mouse, my edge of rotation. Second left click, I want this to be stick to here. So I made it. And then we have follow me. That is, we're gonna see it in the future, but I'm gonna show you a little bit about that. It's really useful for baseboards, plumbing, well, many things. So supposedly I want specific to orbit in a way that is this way. So I'm gonna do in this end point, one circle, for example. And now with follow me, I can select the surface and follow the path. So we can create tubes, rails, handrail, a lot of things. That way, we can create first the shape, that in this case, I make a circle to keep it simple, and then I follow the path. Then we have scale that, for example, if we want to scale from meters to millimeters, from inches to feet, we can, for example, this triangle, select scale, and we can like put it 12, and we can put it in feet, or we can divide it by something, and we can make it smaller as well. It's just for that. And then offset, we already saw it, but just as a revision, we are creating this particular line, the same line with a specific distance, could be 6 inches, for example. So I create exactly the same line in a specific distance, so it divides these two surfaces. Then we have this one that is for mirror, so I select the object and I can mirror in different axes that are this one, so we can see the blue one, the green one, and the red one, so we can mirror in an easier way. And also, I'm gonna rotate something just to show you. We can change the axis. So for example, supposedly I have this way. So I need all of these elements. I select all of them and I'm gonna rotate them a little bit like that. And I need this particular axis, like are not the same ones. What happens if I want to draw like this? and I want to be aligned to this, I can if I have this group, but if I want to keep drawing, we need to stick to the green and the red axis. So in this case, what we can do is change axis. So I select axis, one click in this axis. Second click, we are setting up the green and the red axis. So second click, and then third one, we set up where we want the third axis, like the green axis here. And I set up these axes are the new axis. How do I notice that? Because now if I do like this, now it's aligned and stick to my new angle, so I can keep drawing without any trouble. So for example, I want to rotate again to the last axis, that is this one. Again, one click. So it's first click, second click, third click. So now it's aligned to the new axis. And you can keep like working and changing axes. So well, this is a little about the large tool set. Hope this information is useful, and thanks.